What's up, weirdos? What's going on, guys? How? Pull the coffee in right away. Holy smokes. I'm still sick, so bear with me, guys. Bear with me on that. How are you guys? What's going on today? Nice little Saturday. Sorry, I had to cough there, guys. All right, so Bitcoin. A little bit of a correction here. A little bit of a correction. Well, what we want to see here on Bitcoin today, guys, for a worst case scenario, is we want to see a close above this blue line that we're just a hair below right now at $115,000. We're about $300 below that right now, so that's not bad. And there is still about 9 hours left until the daily candle close, so there's lots of time to get back up there again, right? Lots of time. It's all good in the hood. So we'll see what happens later today. Could we see a bit of a red Saturday followed by another monstrously green Sunday that has generally been the trend over the last month and a half? So we'll see what happens there. We will see what happens there, but not too bad. Just a little reminder right off the top, guys, on Saturdays and Sundays, there is only one live stream per day on weekends. Tomorrow's live stream Sunday will be at 1 p.m. Central when I get back from church. And today's obviously 9:30 a.m. Central here. So just a reminder of the schedule, okay? So there won't be a live stream this afternoon, most likely. I got a lot of coaching calls to catch up on over on the Patreon, so I will be doing that. All right. Let's get into the chat a little bit, guys. What do we got here? 0 super chats to start the stream. So let's get into the chat. Angelo, what's going on, man? I'm here. I think I'm too early. You're never too early, brother. You're never too early. We do the 15-minute clock count to make sure that everybody gets a notification because YouTube likes to not send out the notification that we're live for some reason. So David, good morning, buddy. Let's go, brother. Let's go. Swift coin. Let's get it. Paul, good to see you, buddy. Angel, yeah, Swift is moving. Yeah, it's market's down a little bit now. Not down, but from where it was this morning. Swift's up 2.5% on the day now. I will be doing some DCAing this afternoon, guys, so make sure you keep an eye out for my buy alerts over on the Patreon. Super chat's coming in. Jimmy V. My guy, thank you so much, brother. Thank you. Started off with no super chats, and then you guys just came in with the 7 herbs and spices. Jimmy V, Eddie, and Axe 2.21. Eddie says, get over to the Patreon, people. It's not too late. Absolutely. Thank you guys so much. Thank you. Axe, smash the likes. Absolutely, man. John, blessings, my friend. Absolutely. Smash the likes, guys. Thank you, guys. You know what? Thanks for showing up, guys. Thanks for being here. Thanks for supporting. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. It was a struggle to get up today, I'll tell you. It was a struggle to get up today and start making content. So thank you guys so much for that. Jake the Snake, buckle up for the pump, Buttercups. Let's go. Corey Beebs in the house. My guy, what's up, man? Over on both channels, showing the love. I appreciate you, brother. Look at all these panic sellers already in the chat. There you go. There you go. J Money, Bulbasaur, first Pokemon of the day. Chillin', killing like a villain. H. Barbarina in the house. Wendy coming in from down under. Good morning, guys. Hope you're feeling on top of the world, Rob. I'm getting better. I'm getting better. William, good to see you, my guy. Wendy says, smash that like button on your way in. Another local says 10% club. Patience family. Thanks, Rob, for all your hard work. We so close. Appreciate you. Hey, absolutely, man. Motivation Daily says, what's up, Pencil Next? Like, subscribe, and join the 10% club today. Don't be our exit liquidity and miss your chance at life-changing wealth for the price of a cup of coffee. Absolutely. Absolutely. Eric dropping that cheddar. I know you are a fan of XPR. What do you think about Loan Protocol or Metal Chain from, Loan Protocol is XPR, right? I love Metal Chain, Blockchain, and I love Loan. Absolutely, man. Fantastic projects. Fantastic projects. I cannot stress that enough. And if you want real good alpha on Metal blockchain and loan protocol for real, you're going to need to watch Rule Black. Okay? That's my guy. That's my dude. He drops that stuff. He knows all of the ins and outs. I love the project personally. I don't cover it often because it doesn't get a lot of views, but Rule covers it a lot, and absolutely make sure you guys shoot him a sub because he is absolutely the man when it comes to XPR, 100%. Where are we? Where are we here? Wendy says, good morning, fam. Smash the like button. Quentin, good to see you, buddy. I received my ZBEC airdrop yesterday, says H. Barbarina. Nice, nice, nice. I told you guys it was coming. It was coming. Wendy got her ZBEC over the decent yesterday, too. Nice, nice, nice. Guys, make sure you hit the like and subscribe. What do we have? 234 people here. We got 73 likes, guys. Smash that like button. Get it up. Let's get to 100. First goal, first target. Brian, good to see you, buddy. Good to see you. Surf Armory. What's up? 10%ers. Stay patient. Not bitching and counting up as our bags grow. There you go. It's me, Mario. What's going on, man? Let's get this bull by the horns. Absolutely, man. Question, do you recommend signing up for Coinbase or Kraken Premium in September or October for cashing out to lessen fees? I'd probably steer towards Kraken personally. I'm not the biggest fan of Coinbase. I don't believe that Coinbase acts in good faith. Not that Kraken doesn't do things too, but Coinbase is more of a villain in the space, in my opinion. Wendy says, Crypto Future Family has hit 14,500 subscribers. Amazing growth, Rob. Absolutely. We're trying to break that 15K subscriber level, guys. So make sure you are hitting the subscribe button and help push us over that goal. Spuds, my dude, what's up, man? Oh, house. Any videos or content besides yours I can listen to driving to Florida to Cleveland for 14 hours? What I would say, there is a list of YouTubers that I like to watch that if you're watching while you're driving and you got a long drive, Caesar Gets Crypto, Maximus Crypto, Rule Black, Colin Talks Crypto, Blockchain Backer, all 5 fantastic content creators. Absolutely. Those are 5 I would recommend listening to. Danny, good to see you, buddy. Funky is in the house. Mary, out of the country. I'm missing the Patreon lives. Well, get back in the country. What are you doing? Get back here. Motives, good to see you, man. Miller Mountain, not jacked anymore. Not stacked yet, but I'm fanny packed for sure. Loving this crypto journey with Crypto Future. Absolutely. Jack stacked and fanny packed. I'm always ready so that I don't have to get ready, brother. Danny, good afternoon, my friend. Tyler, good morning, Rob. Have you seen the news about Wormhole and Layer Zero bidding for Stargate? Yes, I was following it last night. And it is, as Motives would say, super fantastic. Danny says, hit the like button, y'all. Blessings, John. Good to see you, my friend. Good to see you again. Jimmy, what's up, buddy? What's up, Rob? You panic buyer. Feel so blessed to have found you. Hey, man, I'm blessed that you're here, brother. E. Perez, think we score highest weekly total to close. Let's go. Hello from the Netherlands. Mark is in the house. Nice, nice, nice. Braveheart, Monster Sunday, DCA, while you can. Gamecast, 4 milli Nadix. Let's get it. There you go. Danny's at the gym early today. I dig it, brother. I dig it. A guy says, good morning, Rob and Crypto Fam. JJ Mack. Good day, first time viewer. Welcome to the family, JJ Mack. Guys, make sure you give him a warm welcome. Welcome to the community, man. Good to have you here. Let's get it, fam. Stay green this weekend. Could it be possible that Jasmine doesn't go above 12 cents this cycle? I'm calling for 20 to 25 cents, maybe 27. I was on Caesar last night asking him to chart Nadix, Rob. Rob pops up and I got scared. Yes, I'm always watching, man. I'm always watching. Metal blockchain and XPR are the only 2 FedNow blockchains. I lean towards Metal blockchain and then XPR in that order. Loan is a banger too. Absolutely. Great stuff, man. Great projects. And a guy always keeping the negative emotions out of the crypto decisions. That's what I like to see. Beebs, Rob, can you see a run up into September? Yes, Beebs, I do. Everything seems to be lining up. You know what? Let's go have a looky-loo. Let's go have a looky-loo. Now, I talked about this about a week ago and how we have, it looks like we're going to have a rate cut in September. The debate is now whether it's going to be 25 basis points or 50. So if you really look at things closely, everything seems to be lining up for a big correction near the end of September, around the 20th, right? Because around the 17th, I think the 17th, you have the FOMC meeting where they will most likely, in my opinion, cut rates, right? So you have the rate cut around the 17th, and then right here around the 20th, and remember that nothing is it's not to the day when it comes to the M2, right? There's an 80% correlation. So give or take around the 20th of September, we peak here on the M2 money supply. So right around the same time, we should see a sell the news event on the rate cut, because what will happen is crypto will have a run up until we actually get the rate cut, which is pricing the rate cut into the market. And then we'll see a sell the news event where we'll likely see the market kind of sell off, which seems to be right around the time the M2 corrects. So it is a nice little correlation here where we could see the market dump down for about 4 weeks or so around the 20th of September till around the 20th of October. And then as we can see, we have the recovery in the M2. And if you look at the M2 right now, we have this lower, we've been putting in lower highs on the M2, right, for a while now. However, as you can see, we've broken above the trend line. So what we need to do on the M2 to put in a higher high is we need to close above this blue line here that I've put in, right? If we can close above that and put in a higher high than this one right here, right, then we should see another run up on the M2. And I do believe that this is what's going to happen. I believe we will put in a higher high on the M2 before finally rolling over, right? And so what I think we're going to see here is I think we're going to see about 4 weeks of crypto running to the upside into around the rate cut, where we'll see a buy the rumor, sell the news event, and we'll see crypto dump for about 3 to 4 weeks into middle to around the 20th of October, followed by a recovery and the bull run ending, well, Bitcoin topping anyway, sometime around the end of November. Now, Bitcoin tops around the end of November. Altcoins will still likely run for about 6 to 8 weeks, maybe even 3 months after Bitcoin tops, as you start to see that capital rotation from Bitcoin through the altcoin market, right? Your blue chips, Bitcoin to Ethereum, to the blue chips, to the mid caps, to the small caps, to the tiny caps, to the right. So you see what I'm saying? So that's kind of how I see things playing out here, guys, over the next September, October, November, December, the next 4 months. H to the ISO, V to the ISA. That's how I see it playing out, right? As Bitcoin gets busy. Okay, so looks good, guys. That's how I see it playing out. Let me know what you guys think. Do you think I'm wrong? Do you think that the altcoin market, do you think, because here's the thing, if Bitcoin does top around the end of November, altcoins will continue to run most likely into January, February, and then that'll be it, right? If Bitcoin tops at the end of November, because the altcoins, again, will run for 2 to 3 months after Bitcoin's done, right? So that would bleed us into next year, not for Bitcoin, but for the altcoins. So, but again, guys, I still think my top for Bitcoin is still somewhere between $150,000 and $200,000, right? I don't think we're going any higher than that this cycle. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. And I could be wrong, and I'm willing to be wrong. I don't care if I'm wrong. I mean, I hope I'm wrong, because then it goes higher, I make more money, right? But I think a lot of people are being, over bullish, because, like, listen, at the bottom of this cycle, Bitcoin was $15,000, and I know a lot of people right now. I've said this before. When they hear me say, $150,000 to $200,000 Bitcoin at the cycle top is bearish, you're only feeling that way because it's bearish from $115,000 where we are right now. But if you look at it, if you were buying Bitcoin at the bottom of this bear market at $15,000, Bitcoin has gone up $100,000 per coin since the bottom of this market cycle, right? $100,000 per coin. That's not bearish. That's not bearish at all. You just have recency bias, right, with what the current price is. So, I mean, if you think about it, if Bitcoin tops at $150,000, that's $135,000 gain per Bitcoin in one cycle. That's not bearish. That's extremely bullish. It's just that some people didn't get into the market until, I don't know, January, February of last year / this year, right? Like 8 months ago or whatever. Now, here's the caveat to that. Me saying that doesn't mean that you're not going to make a lot of money, because even if Bitcoin tops at $150,000, hypothetically, altcoins haven't even started running yet. So I'm guessing that most of you are holding mostly altcoins. And if that's the case, well, you have nothing to worry about, because altcoins still have a lot of road ahead of them in this cycle to go. So it's all good, right? Moda's Bitcoin just liquidating as long as people play. Yeah, we're down at 114.7 right now, which is fine. Blinders on and earplugs in. I take the earplugs out when Rob talks. There you go. Wendy, I was getting ready to go to bed. Saw your live come on. Thought I better stay up and watch this. Definitely in the no sleep zone. Exactly, Wendy. You always got to stay up for Rob, right? Come on. Miller says, JJ Mack, I promise you found the exact right spot for crypto investing. Priceless guidance and knowledge from Rob. There you go. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Will alts also correct? Yes, they will. Yes, they will. William Wiggins, what's up, buddy? The ice cream truck is coming. Let's go. Needs to happen faster. Gotta have patience, my friend. The market doesn't care about your patience. You gotta have them. WF Capital, what's going on? Zebik and Nadix, hell yeah. Beebs likes that. Monty Money, hey Rob, I think this cycle won't stop at the end of the year. The ETF's front running the cycle. It will definitely last till maybe Q1, Q2. Yeah, maybe. It's entirely possible. Entirely possible. Ben, what's up, man? Happy Saturday. You sound like you're feeling better. What are your thoughts on syrup? Yeah, I like syrup. I don't hold any of it, but I do like the project. Maple Finance, right? Good project. Fantastic. Dave, morning, man. What's up, man? I love that timeline. I think you're dead nuts. Keep killing it, brother, man. Absolutely. 100 likes. Did we get to 100 likes? 297 people watching. 101 likes. Yes, let's break up to 200, guys. Let's get new all-time high. Beebs, do you think it's a good idea to take profits when you see Bitcoin dominance around 47? It depends. It depends. I mean, there's a lot of other factors. I don't think you should ever consider taking profits based on one single metric, right? You have to have a confluence of multiple reasons why, like multiple signals flashing, right? So not just based on one indicator, no. Wise Tron, what's up? Bitcoin $186,000 top. Good morning. What's up, man? Good to see you. Jake the Snake, welcome to McFreedoms. Would you like your limited time special? Roberto's fries, guaranteed to cross your eyes. Absolutely, brother. I love it. I love it. I've been long for a week. Got my ass kicked on the drawdown, but it's proving to be worth it. There you go, man. There you go. Happy Saturday, Brother Rob. AF in the house. Grand Rising Crypto Fam. Diana, what's going on? Thanks. Thank you for being here. All right, guys, let's get into the news a little bit. We are all caught up in the chat. What do we have going on around the market? Are we headed towards altcoin season? Let's look at the altcoin season index for a little bit of a clue. All right, so as you can see, guys, we did have this bull flag right here. I can't put lines on here for some reason. They need to have tools on here, but they don't. Anyway, you had a bull flag. You've broken out of your bull flag. You're currently sitting right at resistance on the altcoin season index. As you can see back here, you have resistance that you're literally sitting right underneath right now. If you can break above that resistance, it's going to be, you're heading up. You're at 61 on the altcoin season index. We are headed for clear skies, my friends. Things are looking good. David says 30K HBAR, 33K CASPA, Swift, XRP as well. Other portions don't make 100K this cycle. I'll be sad. Oh, you'll make more than that, brother. You'll make more than that. Hey, boss, do you know anything about the project called Alchemy? It's a project about advertising. I do not. I've absolutely never heard of it. Never heard of it. Wolf Bane, can't wait. Love the content. Thank you so much, brother. I appreciate you. All right, let's go have a look across the news. What's going on out there today, guys? Braveheart, chilling. What's up, man? Being Canadian, yeah, he likes syrup. Yeah, there you go. Maple syrup, baby. Brazil imposes flat 17.5% tax on crypto gains. That doesn't sound half bad. On June 12th, 2025, Brazil implemented a 17.5% flat tax on crypto capital gains, addressing all digital assets and reshaping the industry's landscape in the country. The tax policy overhaul ends favorable conditions for small investors, creating significant shifts in operations and compliance within Brazil's digital asset market. Brazil's government introduced a new crypto tax policy on June 12th with a flat 17.5% rate on all capital gains. This measure replaces the previous progressive rate that eliminates exempt thresholds for digital asset transactions. The Brazilian government and REFERRAL are key players in enforcing this policy shift. This change alters the operational framework for crypto investors. Many digital assets now fall under the tax scope, impacting both institutional and retail entities. Do you have to pay a 17.5% tax? Yeah, we pay 66 in Canada. I don't want to hear here's the world's smallest violin for your 17.5% tax when I'm paying 66. Get out of here. Community responses are mixed as investors anticipate increased financial burdens, while larger holders may benefit from the lowered maximum rate. Smaller investors face removal of previous exemptions, sparking concerns among retail investors. Analysts predict the tax overhaul could lead to a reduced DeFi activity and on-chain liquidity due to the enforcement compliance on transactions. Historical trends suggest potential shifts in market behavior, possibly driving alternatives for tax-efficient strategies. Let me know, guys, in the chat, what is the capital gains tax where you live right now? What is your current capital gains tax? Let me know in the chat. Historically, Brazilian crypto investors enjoyed a progressive tax regime, with higher rates previously capped at 22.5%. Removal of exempt thresholds now aligns with Brazil with stricter global crypto taxation norms, impacting smaller investors. Guys, we pay 66% of 50%, right? So what that means is basically on the total of what I make for capital gains, I pay 33%. So if I make $1 million, in crypto, I have to sell, for every million I make, I have to give the government $330,000, right? These people are complaining about 17.5%. Are you kidding me right now? Are you kidding me? You pay half of what I pay. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Daryl says 24% in the UK. Miller Mountain's paying 37 in Washington. Wow. Yeah. See? And these people, 37 federal. Yeah. See? And these people are upset about 17 and a half. I would take 17. Would you guys take 17 and a half? Any day. Restful Mind, thank you so much, Mewtwo, for stepping up and supporting the channel. I appreciate you, man. Plus, again, Mewtwo in the house, right? JTS, my dude, just showed up. McFreeland's fries cooked up by Chef Rob. Can't be beat, baby. Kizza says about 24% in the UK. Oof, was about, oh, man. Yeah, taxes theft, absolutely it is. Absolutely. 50% in Germany. For all of you U.S. residents, remember the T-tax. There you go, 37% U.S. federal, 0 in my state. Yeah, see, 17 doesn't sound so bad to us now, does it, right? I'd take 17 quick as a hiccup, I'll tell you that much. Complaining about 17.5%. Get out of here. Get out of here with that. Out of my face. Out of my face with that. I'm doing the Andy and moving my butt to Dubai after this cycle. There you go. Hopefully Uncle Sam does not go after me out there. Well, here's the thing. Even if you move, from my understanding, if you move from wherever you are to Dubai, you still have to pay your country's tax unless you surrender your citizenship to your country, right? That's my understanding of it. So you'll end up having to pay tax in 2 countries instead of just 1, right? So yeah, you got to watch that, right? Because even though you don't live in the U.S. anymore, your government will still come after you because they want their money, right? Kizza, still watching on my 3rd holiday of the year when I can be in a holiday permanently. There you go. Yes, exactly. That's what happens when socialists take over. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. So here's the thing. Here's the thing that's confusing about it, though, guys. So your taxes are basically there to help, fix your city, fix your streets, potholes, whatever, right? Fix your city up and the place you live. That's what a big chunk of your state tax anyway is supposed to be going to, right? So if you don't live there, why are you being taxed there still, right? If you're not enjoying the amenities of the place that your taxes are allegedly going to maintain, I don't know, 2.5% state tax, says Spuds. Y'all need to tell New York City what's up. No kidding. Yes, I'm in Cali, so 37% federal, 13 state, so 50%. Oof. I don't want your stupid corn, Nacho. Get that corn out of my face. Yeah, I'll take 17 over 33 here in Canada. Absolutely. In Minnesota, it's 10 to 37% federal. Oof, man. Which crypto are you most bullish on, Nadex or XTB? Flip a coin, man. Flip a coin. They're both going to do absolutely phenomenal. All right, U.S. Fed signals rate cuts. Crypto shorts get liquidated. Almost $500 million USD in crypto shorts were liquidated in the past 24 hours as a bullish reversal tied to the Fed's signal on rate cuts spurred price surges. These liquidations underscore the volatility of crypto markets and highlight the influential role of monetary policy signals, impacting Ethereum and Bitcoin prices significantly. Nearly $450 million in crypto shorts were liquidated recently as the market reached the potential indications of a U.S. Federal Reserve rate cut. The action followed signals from Fed Chair Jerome Powell on possible changes to monetary policy courses. The market shift resulted in Ethereum's price surging by approximately 9% and Bitcoin reaching over $116,000. The liquidation totaled 310 to 446 million, with Ethereum and Bitcoin being the most impacted assets. The Fed's rate cut hints at broad financial implications, boosting market volumes by 15% to 189.7 billion. Ethereum saw significant trading with over 147 million shorts liquidated, tripling Bitcoin's figures, causing a marked market shift. This market activity aligns with historical short squeezes following macroeconomic statements, which often disrupt risk on asset classes. Institutional and treasury funds remain active with continued accumulation amid market volatility. Looking forward, these developments suggest potential institutional interest and increased trader optimism. Historical trends suggest the possibility of a prolonged market volatility, indicating a dynamic trading landscape following Fed policy change. Absolutely super fantastic. All right, I actually have a video here from Pompliano. Let's check out what Pomp has to say, shall we, guys? Mr. Bitcoin Maxi himself, he says, Jerome Powell has finally bent the knee and signaled interest rate cuts are coming in September. Send everything higher.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, today is the Super Bowl for investing nerds all around the world. Everyone was watching Jerome Powell and the Federal Reserve as they concluded the annual Federal Reserve Economic Policy Symposium all the way up in Jackson Hole, Wyoming. Now, this event brings together central bankers, economists, policymakers, and financial market leaders. It's been held every August since 1982, and I call it the Nerd Super Bowl because it has become the premier global gathering for economic policy discussion. In the past, we saw Ben Bernanke hint at the incoming unconventional monetary policy during the financial crisis. Jerome Powell back in 2020 explained that his framework was changing during that global health shutdown. This year's meeting has been noteworthy because it is widely thought to be Jerome Powell's last Jackson Hole event as Fed chairman. He's been under immense pressure from the president, from the White House, and from the broader public to cut interest rates. But Jerome Powell, he's passionately resisted all of those calls for monetary easing. Now, you got to remember, this is the same guy who told the world in 2020 that we should expect interest rates to remain depressed near 0% for an extended period of time. But then all of a sudden, Jerome Powell woke up, got out of bed, and he changed his mind in early 2022. Powell went on a spree of interest rate hikes that increased the cost of capital at the fastest pace in history. That wasn't good. So now Jerome Powell has a checkered past to do with interest rates. That past still has not prevented anyone from tuning in to Jerome's press conference this morning. In his remarks, Powell guided the market to a 25 basis point cut for interest rates in September. It's a big deal. He's finally bending the knee. Now, this is a welcomed reprieve from Powell's previous position on the potential cuts. The labor market has somehow become the scapegoat for the Fed's pivot today. They're blaming the labor market for the change of tune. Here you can see Powell explaining the stability of the unemployment rate as a key contributor to his guidance. Take a listen.
In the near term, risks to inflation are tilted to the upside and risks to employment to the downside, a challenging situation. When our goals are in tension like this, our framework calls for us to balance both sides of our dual mandate. Our policy rate is now 100 basis points closer to neutral than it was a year ago, and the stability of the unemployment rate and other labor market measures allows us to proceed carefully as we consider changes to our policy stance. Nonetheless, with policy in restrictive territory, the baseline outlook and the shifting balance of risks may warrant adjusting our policy stance. Monetary policy is not on a preset course. FOMC members will make these decisions based solely on their assessment of the data and its implications for the economic outlook and the balance of risks. We will never deviate from that approach.
All right. So as soon as Powell's comments came out, I spoke with my friend Jordy Visser. He told me that the labor market is now more important than inflation. Take a listen to Jordy's explanation right here.
Well, I'm just looking as you're speaking because everything you said would suggest that he's cutting and the markets responded that way. Stocks are up sharply and you have rates moving lower. I think the most important thing about this, Anthony, obviously, from my perspective, that statement about the jobs market has weakened, inflation is still on that side, regardless of whether they're admitting it, they're leaning towards the fact of the jobs market is more important than the inflation side at this point. And for me, with PMIs rising, all of the prices paid side rising, they will be easing into a situation where PMIs are going up. Now, we still have another CPI report and we have another jobs report. One thing that we haven't talked about, on September 9th, I believe it is, there will be benchmark revisions for labor. And the estimates I've seen are anywhere from 500,000 to 900,000 job losses that will be added to what had happened between into March of 25, which again, I think they're just leaning on the dual mandate towards the side of the jobs market. And I think moving rates lower at a time when we're already seeing the spending happening, it's a big deal. I'm going to say it's a big deal. Everything is a big deal when it comes to rate cuts, but in particular, when you already have a strong economy, cutting rates into an economy where PMIs are going higher, I think is just going to help the market in a significant way into the end of the year.
So if we're going to get an interest rate cut, maybe it should be bigger than 25 basis points, right? Go big or go home. And no, I'm not joking. I asked Jordy if Powell should do a 50 basis point cut. Here's what Jordy had to say.
I do not think he should do 50. I think, honestly, this is him giving in to some degree, not to Trump, but
he's bending the knee, Jordy? Are you saying he's bending the knee?
I think he's had enough people internally that have convinced him that the labor market is weaker than the inflation market is out of control. Remember, 5 months of CPI numbers came in lower than expected until last month. And the last report was not a big deal. The stocks went up sharply on CPI. They came down on a PPI print. So it wasn't even a CPI print. The labor market, on the other hand, had the second largest revision in the history of the data. So I think it's justified to do 25. I also think 50 would be a bad message to the markets, especially with PMIs going higher.
All right, maybe I got ahead of myself there a little bit. We'll see. I guess Jordy isn't ready for the big guns yet. But regardless, it appears Jerome Powell and the Fed are going to give the people what they want in September. A 25 basis point rate cut is coming. Cheap money's coming, baby. Stocks and Bitcoin reacted positively to this news. Stocks surged 80 points and Bitcoin gapped up from $112,000 to $116,000 in a matter of minutes. Now, this stance from the Fed is interesting because there are very strong arguments for cutting interest rates. Opening Bell's Phil Rosen writes that the simplest reason the Fed should cut rates in September is because the risks are asymmetric. It's easier to pause the cuts after you start them than it is to fix a broken job market after delaying the cuts. Phil says that we also have payroll growth collapsing, consumer spending is softening, the labor market is more fragile than the 4.2% jobless rate suggests, core inflation is trending lower at 2.5%, and home affordability is a national crisis. It's very hard to argue against any of those points. Not only are they all true, but lower interest rates could have a profound impact on improving the situation. So regardless of what Powell does with interest rates in September, we know one thing to be true. History says if you take 9 months in between policy moves, it's very bullish for stocks. Phil points out that the S&P 500 is higher 10 out of 11 times when the Fed takes between 5 to 12 months between cuts. That comes from data from Ryan Dietrich. So in a weird way, Jerome, too late Powell, he may actually be setting up investors to have a bang end of the year in their investment portfolios. If the rate cuts happen in September, as he's guiding towards, the market's likely to fly higher as cheap capital floods into every corner of the financial system. That'd be a good thing for a lot of investors. We live in an economy that's addicted to cheap capital. Our businesses need it to drive R&D spending and growth. Our citizens need it to afford homes, consume more, and generally have a lower cost of living. And our investors need cheap capital because asset prices are sensitive to the cost of capital. So lower rates are good for America. Are there long-term potential trade-offs? Of course. There's no free lunch here. But if given the opportunity to use monetary policy to grow our way out of the current economic disaster that the politicians have put us in, we got to take it. Let's go. Start acting. The politicians are never ever going to stop spending money. Duh. They are allergic to it. They simply can't help themselves. If you give them a money printer, they're going to print money and drive the national debt to the sky. So the Fed has the opportunity to juice the economy by dropping rates. And as we discussed, there are some very obvious data points that are telling us rates should be lower. So big bad Jerome Powell had his big press conference today. He did a lot of talking, but there ain't no action yet. As the poet and scholar Marshawn Lynch once said, I'm about that action, boss. Let's see if Jerome Powell's all talk or if he's actually going to follow through on today's guidance. The entire nation is watching him.
Yeah, like I said before, guys, I did warn that we probably will see a sell the news event in September. We'll see the markets run up till then, close to the end of September, and then we'll probably see that correction across the markets. Now we have this here, guys. This is a pretty big deal. The ECB evaluates public blockchain for digital euro initiative. Now, I'm not going to read through all of it, but essentially they're considering a public blockchain, again, for the digital euro, right? Now, most likely the two top candidates are obviously Ethereum and Solana. So if whichever one they choose, I'm going to go ahead and assume they're probably going to choose Ethereum. Going to be even more bullish for Ethereum. So keep an eye on that as well. And we got this piece here. Speaking of Ethereum, Ethereum's market sees possible turnaround. Ethereum's value witnessed a 6.2% decrease over the past week, causing concern within the cryptocurrency realm. However, in a slight twist, the coin showed a marginal 0.1% rise in the last day, maintaining a stable presence despite bleak forecasts. Indications from on-chain data and technical evaluations point to a potential notable developments, igniting discussions of a possible market shift. Short-term investors appear to be crucial in the Ethereum's potential bounce back. This group, typically holding Ethereum for limited periods, is showing renewed interest after cutting back recently. Their market share is in wallets increased from 6.9% in July to 9.19% in August for those holding between 1 week to 1 month. Moreover, wallets holding between 1 day and 1 week rose from 1.64% on August 8th to 2.74% by August 21st. The behavior of these investors might be laying the groundwork for a price floor, possibly indicating the beginning of an upward trend in Ethereum's value. The spend output profit ratio, or SOPR, is another crucial element to understanding market dynamics, as it measures whether assets are sold at a gain or at a loss. High SOPR values often coincide with profit taking, while values at or below 1 indicate reduced profitability, commonly occurring during downturns. Ethereum's SOPR decreased from 1.11 to 1.03 recently, up July 31st, showcasing a drop from 1.10 to 1.01 precedes a significant 31% price increase. From a technical standpoint, Ethereum exhibits an inverse head and shoulders pattern on the 4-hour chart, signaling potential reversal. The neckline, sitting at 43.79, is slightly upward inclined, invoking optimism. Should Ethereum break 4,443, next target would be 47. It actually hit 48.80, so it did set a new all-time high yesterday. Ethereum's market movements are driven by several factors: revitalization of short-term traders, the SOPR developments, and technical chart patterns all contribute to anticipations of a potential market uptick. I think we're going to see 4 to 5 weeks, maybe even 6, of upward action, guys. Stay glued to your screens. Hey, Rob and Crypto Future family, hope all is well. Odds of a steeper than expected U.S. Fed rate cut, or maybe a couple quick cuts before refinance debts before early October. Ari, what's going on? Good to see you. You know me. Thanks for all you do, Rob. Sorry I'm late. 50 push-ups incoming. Count them up. I'm excited for what the next few months will bring. Absolutely. Absolutely. Your lives are about to change, my friends. Anthony Pompliano says Powell is bending the knee. Eventually, he had to acknowledge the market. Exactly. Dave, those revised numbers are coming at a good time, brother. Great timing for your timeline. Yes, exactly. Ray, what's going on, buddy? Good to see you again, man. Good to see you once again. All right, guys. I got some more videos I got to make. Just remember, there is only one live stream today. We do have the open mic for Saturday night tonight, hosted by our very own crypto mom, Ramona. Make sure you guys are over on the Patreon for that. We also have a new swing trade tier. If you want to get into swing trading, guys, you want to make some extra capital to beef up your long-term bags, jump over to the Patreon as well. The link is in the chat. It's in the pinned comments. It's in the description of every single video and this live stream. Check it out today, guys. Microcap Gems, live exclusive Patreon-only content, educational content, technical analysis training, and so much more. Click like if you like this video. Click subscribe if you really liked it. I'll see you guys in the next one. God bless.